Okay, welcome back on the MIC Moms.
Ooh, thank you
Today
for
we
having
have
me.
the wonderful Mrs. Di Rosario.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure that you're here. I can't even believe you made time.
Girl, I'm so nervous, but I am going to make time for
Five
this.
kids and all these businesses.
Girl, it's crazy. And honestly, when people bring it up to me, I'm like, yeah, oh my God, it sounds crazy.
Yeah.
You know, when you're in it and you're just plowing through the motion of stuff, it doesn't feel as fast paced as when you sit down and look at it.
What you're actually
And I'm like,
doing.
oh my God, I did all that today. Like, whoa.
You're like doing the job of like 7 people.
It feels like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it is
really,
like that.
It really does feel like that.
I don't even know. I think about my life, right? And what I've got on my plate. And I'm like, could I even do this times 5?
Yeah.
Wild.
You know, it's so funny.
Superwoman. You are superwoman.
On my way here, I was talking to my husband. I was telling him, like, I really don't feel like I realized what I was doing by having 5 kids. I feel like it's just starting to hit me now, like how much things I did not consider before I had them. I never thought about it. It was just like, I'm in love. I want to have a baby. This is my soulmate. I want to have a baby. Like, we're so cute. Our babies would be cute. Let's have a baby. But like, now I'm in the trenches of it. And I'm like, oh my God. Trenches. I'm in the trenches of it, girl. And I don't know. I don't know what made me sign up for this. I don't know.
But you know what? That's a good thing. Because if you really did think about it, maybe you wouldn't have had 5. And then you wouldn't have all your beautiful kids.
I would not have. 1,000. I can tell you 1,000% knowing myself, there's no way I would have said, yep.
This 5, is what I'm saying.
Check me off.
This is why it's good that you didn't think about it. Because could you even imagine your life without all 5 of them? No. Do you know what I'm saying?
They are my everything.
Exactly.
And like, if I thought about it, I definitely wouldn't have done that. You know, like even the small things like school tuition times 5. Whew. Outfits times 5. Snacks times 5. You know, they love the snacks. I'm bored. Mom, can I have a snack? I'm tired. Can I have a snack?
Yeah. I saw your story the other day, and your grocery shopping for 3 days was $400. What?
Girl, that was
for 3 days.
Let me tell you, that was a good day. Okay. And we didn't get any meat. That didn't include any meat.
Good Lord.
And there was no bread either. So like we usually get like 3 or 4 loaves of bread at a time. And then our meat will be like a little chicken, little beef. Ribs is like bottom of the list right now. That's me and husband's like delicacy. That's one off.
Do you have your secret snacks? That's just for you and hubby?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
good.
We have to.
You have to have your little secret thing.
Yeah.
You know, when the apple slices that are just yours.
Just mine. And sometimes me and my husband really be going in the fridge in the night and stealing the kids' snacks. We have to.
Me too.
And we just play along the next morning when they're looking for them. We're not sure what happened, you know, and that's how we survive.
I eat my daughter's cheese strings and I drink her juice boxes.
It tastes better when it's theirs, honestly.
And I paid for it, so there we go.
It feels even better.
Period. But here's my thing. $400 for 3 days. First of all, that's crazy.
Absolutely crazy.
Second of all...
Did you see the cost of that watermelon? $10.
Why?
For a quarter of a watermelon, $10. I'm there in shock, and people are looking at me like, girl, you better get with the program, because this is regular. And I'm like, no.
Right.
And I'm so happy that we are able to afford the groceries, right?
Is it.
But my main thing is that if I was working a regular 9 to 5 and he was working a regular 9 to 5, it couldn't work.
It couldn't work.
It could never work. We would be like pinching bottom to bottom.
It would be so tough. Like,
it would be so tough. And I think the hardest thing for me as a mom now, with like everything being so expensive, is taking things away from my kids. I never want them to get used to a life or a lifestyle that I have to remove and I have to take away, you know? Like, I remember Dunkaroos for me growing up. That was like a specialty. We only got that when it was on sale. What, those little cute little graham crackers that you dip into ice?
Canada.
Oh, yeah!
I don't know what that is.
Sorry, babe. I forgot you're not a Canadian babe. It's okay.
I mean, so I'm an honorary Canadian babe, but
you are not, yes. So they're like little graham crackers, and you dip them into like icing, and they come together as like one pouch. That was like the coolest thing when I was little, but my mom couldn't buy that all the time. It was one off, you know?
And then.
So I grew up saying like, I want to be able to get like those little snacks and stuff for my kids, not when it's just on sale, you know? Like, I want to be able to get it for them just because we can get it, and it's something so small, but it means so much to them, you know? So I'm looking at the prices of these groceries, and I'm like, damn, I really don't want to be at the lineup saying like, oh, can you put that back? Like, can you put that back? Like, and that's a normal thing for us moms. And sometimes throughout the chaos of grocery shopping, we don't realize how much stuff we're putting in the cart because realistically, we need everything. And this is why, you know, my husband makes little jokes about it sometimes. Like, I'll go get the milk because at least I'll go in and I'll come out with the milk. And I'm like, like, you got jokes, buddy, but it must be nice to not have to think about a powder bathroom, about your kids' room, your kids' bathroom, the laundry room, the garage, the basement. Like, I got to think of everything for the house. So when I'm in the grocery store, it's kind of like I need Lysol. I also need bacon. I also need salad.
But you get ideas as you're going down the aisle.
Right. But then the reality hits at the lineup, girl. And I'm there like, this lady just scanned 10 items. It's already at $2.76.
Yeah, because you see, Canada does this thing where the price on the actual shelf is not the price.
No.
Because it's plus tax.
Yes.
That's where they get you.
And it's a setup for failure.
I don't like that. But you see, I like your message because I like that, yes, it's expensive. Yes, it costs a lot. But your thinking is not, I need to reduce how much I give my kids or reduce what I can provide for my kids. Your thinking is, I just need to make more money.
Yes.
That's your thing.
That's it.
And I like that.
Yes.
Because it gets us out of this whole, this mentality of lack as moms, that we have to skimp and save and, you know, cut back. How about we get our head into, let's just get the money up?
Yes. And I noticed that when I started talking to like my mom and my grandma about those things, it's almost like taboo to say, like, I want to be able to afford this and I want to be able to get this, because naturally, especially as Black women, we have been taught over so many years to suppress that and to like not talk about how much money we have and how much money we earn and how much this is like. And it is something that I'm trying to teach my family to unlearn. Like, we are in a very blessed position to keep going, because I feel like no matter what level I get to, it's never good enough for me. You know, like, I remember a couple years ago before I got married, I was like, oh, I wish I could make like an extra $1,000 a month. This was 5 years ago. I was like, I wish I could get an extra 1,000. What am I going to do to get that? And then when I got that, I was like, oh, what if I had an extra $2,500 and this would be so nice. And like, what if I had an extra $5,000? Like, you know what I mean? So for us, I feel like it never really ends. There's never really like a cap for us, because we want the best, not for ourselves, but for everybody.
For the kids,
you know, our families, our moms, our spouses, you know, and we have to think about things in a circle. Whereas I say to my husband, he just thinks like this. Like, you know, like, okay, we need eggs today. I'll go get the eggs and come back. But like, we also need butter because our butter is like quarter done. You know what I mean? So it's like, we also need bread because we only have like 3 left. But
you seems like you're so organized with that. I'm so bad at that.
Really?
Yeah, like in terms of keeping track of what groceries we have and what groceries we don't have, that's not my strength.
Yeah. So, you know what I found helped a lot? We have a chart on our fridge now, like just one of those whiteboards, and anything that I find we need or is finishing, write it on the board. And the kids also do it as well.
That's like the essentials, right? For like milk, eggs, butter, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I am the type to go in the shop and just get just the one thing I came for and leave. Otherwise, I know I'm leaving with a whole trolley full of things that I didn't even really want and we don't need, but I just saw it and thought,
so cute. I need that.
So I avoid it because I will go in and I'll get all the cleaning products and all of this. Oh, today I wanted to try the Ylang bathroom cleaner. And it's just like, oh, that's an expensive cleaner.
For me, the DIY projects get me. Anytime I see a mom doing something cute, I'm like, I want to do that. But that mom probably had 3 of the 7 things she needed to do that project. I have none. So I'm starting from scratch now. I got to go get this. I got to get this. I got to get that. And I get it all.
Things that are just in the house. Exactly.
It just collects dust in my office and I never really look at it. And then the kids are like, Mom, I thought we were going to do like puppet painting today. And I'm just like,
no, sweetie.
You know, so that's where it's hard for me. I love doing like little projects and stuff. I love thinking of little projects, but then when it comes to like getting the ingredients and getting the stuff, I'm just like,
the reality of it is different to the dream. Like, I'll be on TikTok and I'll see all these things and I want to do that, and all now the stuff, I bought the stuff, but I didn't do the thing. So talk to moms about what you do. Let's backtrack a little bit.
Okay.
Share how you make your money, what work you do, because I know you share on your TikTok sometimes how much money you make.
Yes.
People get the wrong end of the stick sometimes.
The very wrong end of the stick. Oh my gosh.
So let's clear that up for the girls.
Yes. So I'm sure you saw my TikTok video where I talked about making $8,000 in 1 week.
Yeah.
And somebody somehow did the calculation of, if you're making that every week, that means you made 200,000 or whatever.
400,000 or something. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It doesn't work like that. It comes in waves. I have good weeks. I have bad weeks, just like everybody else. But the best thing that I've taught myself is to be more well-rounded when it comes to my digital income. So like, I don't only get money from brand deals. I get money from just creating content. I'll get money from YouTube. I'll get money from selling digital products, from coaching. You know what I mean? So it's just creating like a well-rounded thing of like, oh, maybe I can't make money in this today, but like I can make money in this lane today, you know? And I think that's something that I love pushing to moms, because we need those resources.
Absolutely.
We need those financial resources, and we need the bandwidth to be able to do extracurricular things and like do cute things. And, you know, there's a very fine line for mothers between cute and productive. And I think that our kids deserve both.
Yeah.
And I think that it really comes down to the income. So I make sure that I'm very well-rounded. My husband pays for all of the bills. So my money is my money. He's very strong on that. And it allows me to have like the creative freedom that I need to keep growing.
Yes. Okay.
So there's so many different ways to make money online. I mentioned a couple of them. For me, the main thing is brand deals and content and working with brands to advertise. But so I've started something called Mumptreprenur University.
Yes.
And this is a platform that educates moms on how to make money online, but it's a specific way of making money. You're making money through content, your story. So I don't ever advise my mentees to like do like random just content stuff. It has to fit into your life. It has to fit into your kids. It has to fit into your marriage, and it has to solve a problem. I've noticed that when you can solve a problem with a product or service, that's when it skyrockets.
That's
because
right.
people are like, oh, I have a headache every morning when I wake up too. You took that and it stopped. I'm getting that. You know what I mean? I'm going to try that. But had you just woken up, never complained about a headache to me a day in your life, and then you're like, oh guys, if you have a headache, try this. It's
not gonna connect. Yeah,
it's missing a piece, right? Because it just feels like you're trying to get a check. It feels like you're just trying to make money with this company, and it feels fake. And I feel like social media has gotten to a place now where we know what's real and we know what's fake. You know, we have a very good sense of people that are putting on. So for me, like, I don't like watching moms that seem perfect. That gives me the creeps.
Yeah.
Your kitchen is so aesthetic. Everything is lined up. Everything is nice. You're talking nice and gentle all the time. And like, you're super, it's giving red flag.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's giving you're about to pop off the top at any minute. And I don't want to be around for that.
Yeah.
Motherhood is not like that in any way, shape, or form, whether you have 1 or 5. It is always going to be a calm and a chaos and a combination of the two, right?
100%.
So when I see moms just, I love this, and it's just this.
Fake.
Like, and no, I'm never tired. And no, I don't know how, like, it's just not real. And we can feel that.
Yes.
You know, we can feel when you're putting on for the camera. So I really encourage all of my mentees to just be real. If you're having a shitty day, then say you're having a shitty day. You know what I mean? If you feel like crying, let's cry it out.
Yeah. And
then laugh about it after. You know, if you have an issue with me, let's talk about it. Let's confront me, chin check me. I love older sister energy. You know what I mean? I love that when I feel like you're coming down on me like a big sister because you genuinely don't want to see this outcome for me. I love that. So I feel like that just gets naturally so much more attention because it feels like home. It feels real.
And it's relatable.
Yes.
And it doesn't have you judging yourself.
Exactly.
Or second guessing. Well, what's wrong with me then? Why isn't my house like that?
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
That's where, and I think that's the good balance that you have because you share all of it, like the positives, the negatives. I was even watching your story of you searching all the stores trying to find some formula.
Yeah, we were on a
for the babies.
We're on a manhunt right now for the formula. It's really sad. The shortage is really sad, and my daughter does not take any other formula except for the one that we've had her on. So she's been screaming, like not sleeping. All like the sleep deprivation is really hitting me and my husband really hard right now. So it's a scavenger hunt, and it's hard because like I see other moms running into the store too, and like I've had so many connections at the front door with moms, and we could just tell that we're here for the same thing. And I'm like, girl, there's none.
Oh my God.
Don't save yourself those 10 steps. Let's go to the next one, you know? And it's such a manhunt right now. And it's sad. I think that the world is going through a shape shift. There's a lot of things that are changing. I think businesses are also learning how to adjust to this like influx of change. Because all it takes is one word on social media for a business to be like turned upside down. Like, how do we deal with that? And, you know, we're in a different place right now. So the formula shortage is really stressing me out.
Yeah.
It really is
I can
stressing me out.
imagine.
And it makes me feel like maybe I should have breastfed. You know, I have that in my head all the time. Like, I had the milk
It's like
coming from
we're
my
damned
titties.
if we do, damned if we don't.
Right?
It's just you just got to do what you can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we can't even come down on ourselves like that. Because
Yeah.
there's no, you couldn't have known.
Girl, there's no way I could have breastfed up till now. 12 months, I couldn't do it.
You couldn't have
with
known.
my first, yeah. Now, oh my gosh, no. With Nyla, I breastfed up to 6 months, and I was struggling.
Girl, you don't even have to explain yourself.
And
I get it.
Like, and then I noticed there's such a dynamic between like formula feeding and breastfeeding.
I know.
That's when I got kind of like drawn into the debate, and they're like, well, if you're producing, then why would you not want to give your child breast milk? And like, you know, and I feel like there's a lack of understanding on the mental aspect of it for mothers. Like, I need to be I need to be a high functioning mother for my children to be functioning and high functioning as well.
Speak on it. And I think people need to mind their business.
That's
another thing. Mind your business.
Mind your titties.
Yeah. You're happy breastfeeding. That's good for you, sis.
I'm happy for you.
Doesn't work for my family. All right.
Girl,
okay. I can't sit at home all day with this baby on my titty.
On my titty.
I've got to go to work. I've got to do this. I've got to do that.
It feels like battle of the titties too, because you know my husband's not letting up either. So it's like it really is battle for the titties. And whose titties are these? Whose titties are these?
Yeah, because if everyone feels like they can give
entitled to my titties,
yeah, and everyone's got an opinion.
It's a lot. It's a lot to serve with the titties, honestly.
Whose titties really are they?
That's what I want to know, because they weren't feeling like mine.
Yeah.
I felt like I was placed with them, but they didn't feel like my titties.
You know that's true.
Yeah.
And everyone weighing in saying, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. This baby wants some, that baby wants some.
Yeah, it's a mental battle. And I feel like that's another thing that a lot of moms don't talk about. Like, being with your partner and also breastfeeding, I feel like there's a very thin line between that conversation. I'm not too sure why, but like it's a lot to mentally manage as the woman. You know, as the man, he's naturally still attracted to you. He's gonna want to, you know, still be like lovey-dovey and sexual and all of that. But for me, I feel like when I'm breastfeeding, I am like completely out of that sexual era. You know. And it just creates such a like, whose titties are these?
Yeah, but that's a decision you have to make though. That's your decision to make. Like it's either these they're closed for business.
They're closed. They're on a business break.
Yeah, you know, like
no extracurricular
activities right now.
Right.
But then again, how else do you end up with 5 babies?
You know what I mean? We got to keep the spark alive somehow, and it's like the spark is.
But you can find other activities that are not boob related,
right? But what if your man is just a boob man?
I know,
right? And he feels like those are his titties.
Well, they're not, sir.
Sir, you know, we got to keep our marriage spicy. We got to keep ourself alive. We got to keep our babies fed mentally, regardless of how you're dealing with it. It's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah,
it is a lot.
It was a lot for me. Like, and you know, the guilt as well when you stop.
Yeah.
Feeling so bad.
I felt sad.
Yeah, you feel sad. You feel guilty.
Yeah.
But sometimes it doesn't work out. Like for some women, it's not even a matter of they just chose to stop. Sometimes they just couldn't continue. The milk was drying up.
Yes.
Or the baby just wasn't latching.
Yeah.
So it got some time.
And can I just say, we got to nourish ourselves in order to provide that milk, the level of milk that our children need.
And sometimes even with the nourishment, it just doesn't work.
It's a tough thing because it's each body is different. That's really what it comes down to.
Every baby's different. Some babies do not latch.
Yeah.
And if they don't latch, you just can't produce because it's supply and demand.
Yes.
And everyone is just so different. And so you have to figure out what works for my family. At the end of the day, my kid needs to eat and I need to live my life.
Yeah.
And it's nobody's business what my child eats.
Exactly. Nobody's business but ours.
Yeah, but ours. And so that's it. And I think you're very good at that. Like on TikTok, telling people you're good at sharing your story without accepting or taking on people's impositions.
Oh, thank you.
Because I see you share your story, people say what they want to say, and then you're just like, well, first of all, me sharing my story was not giving you permission to. I
did not share my story and hand it to you.
It's not for you to weigh in on this.
Yeah, it's a lot. I'm probably getting dragged in the comments right now as I'm sitting here. To be honest, it's inevitable. And I'm going through that with my mentees right now. They're like, how do you deal with the negative comments and people talking about your kids and talking about your husband? And, you know, I shared the story of how I supported my husband literally from the ground up when he had absolutely nothing. I invested in him and it ended up working out for me. I got dragged to the nine for that. The amount of women that were on TikTok saying, I will never invest in a man. I will never talk to a man that's broke. I will never talk to a man that has no education. I'm just like, oh my gosh, my daughters will never be like you guys, first of all. They will never. They will always have their head on their shoulders and a mind of their own, because not everything walks straight, as I say, right? And sometimes we can't determine our outcome until we invest in it. That's just the reality for some of us. That was my reality. It doesn't have to be yours. Yours can look different than mine, but I will not be teaching my daughters that like the man has to have this and has to have this, because we're both a growing process. You know, and sometimes where I feel like I am 100%, I'm not 100%. And where my husband might feel he's 100, he's not 100. We are constantly growing together, right? Nobody starts at 100. Nobody. So if you have the opportunity to connect with somebody and you love that person, everything's going well, you're going to drop them off the face of the earth because they make $30,000 in that year.
I resonated with what you was talking about, because I met my husband when I was 14 and he was 16. And I know you've known your husband since you guys were young as well.
I was 12. Yeah.
So it's different for us having known our partners from way back in the day, because we have grown with them as individuals, and we knew our husbands back when they were kids with no jobs and nothing basically. So we've seen and been together through that growth and development. I think the women who have an issue with this are women who are like in their 30s and looking for a man. Like if you're in your 30s looking for a man now, I can understand why you don't want to go with a man that don't have a job, 100%. Doesn't have anything to his name, like a big 30 something. I feel like you should have something put together 100% at this age. It's different if you're younger, you meet your man young, like you're 18, 19 or whatever, and you guys are establishing yourself. And I think that's why I could perfectly understand what you were saying. I couldn't understand why women were rough. Like what are you mad about?
I also get their side as well. Like if I was 31 right now and I was single, absolutely not. My standards would be very high, because sir, we are at a different place in life, and you had more than enough time
to get it together. I
100% agree with that. But in the same breath, I don't feel like every story that's told online should come with a disclaimer and should come, like we should have that natural common sense to say, that's not my journey. That's not my path. I'm happy for her, but that's not going to work for me, without getting at me in the comments and saying, girl, why are you telling girls that they should invest in men? And you know what I mean? But I also, and I'm going to ask you this, do you feel like because you've known your husband for so long and you guys were able to grow together, that plays a huge part in how patient you are with him and how you guys communicate?
Definitely. I actually said to him the other day, like a couple weeks ago, I said, my standards and like, let's say my price, you know, that's just quote unquote, for lack of a better word, my price when you met me or like when we got together is different to what it is now. And my value, I guess, has increased. I am I'm established. I'm a grown woman versus when I was younger. So the things that you would have had to do to get my attention back then, you would have to do way more. If you was to meet me today, you would have to do way more than what you had. Like you had it very easy. Like
super easy.
It was not hard because I was young.
I say that to my husband a lot too.
But if you was to have met me in this day and age, 2023, girl, you would have had to step it.
Hurdles.
And that's just how it is, because we've grown. I'm obviously way more patient because I know you and I know your story and everything like that. But if I was just meeting you today, there are certain things where I'd be like, well, I don't care.
So that's not
Say the sad story, bro.
It's not gonna fly today. I feel that 100%.
Okay, so let's talk a bit more about your Mumptreprenur University. I say it wrong because there's two ways to say it. You can say Mumptreprenur, you can say Mumpreneur. Mumptreprenur University. You talked about your mentees. Share more about like what that is.
So I've created a few courses now that pretty much educates moms how to become content creators or influencers. I always I get so many women that are like, I don't want to be an influencer. I feel like influencer has this like taboo about it, you know, and it's because, again, it goes back to that thing of like, girl, you never talked about any headaches, but now you're showing me this headache pill. Make it make sense.
Right.
So I think that there's that like, you know, that stigma on being an influencer. But what I've grown to teach my mentees is that through sharing things that you naturally love and things that work for you as a mom, you naturally become an influencer, because that's what happened to me. Even sometimes when people are like, oh, I'm here with the influencer, Mrs. And I'm like, me?
Yeah.
Me? Like, because I just feel like I just shared my story and like slid some products and services in that have helped me along the way, you know? But yeah, so I educate them on how to become a content creator, how to become an influencer, and how to start making money online with a platform that they already have, and how to appreciate, you know, like small numbers, and how to grow from being a micro influencer. Micro influencers are actually really big right now.
Yes.
And brands prefer to work with micro influencers over mega influencers, because they just have more of a community and they have a broader reach, because it feels more real and it feels more authentic. So that's the road that I teach everyone that comes to Mumptreprenur University. Ultimately, my goal for Mumptreprenur University is to be an in-person facility in Durham. We so need it for moms, that has a workspace and a creative space and a daycare.
Please.
Because we got to get to work. We got things to do. So I'm actively working on that. That is like my super end goal. I'm also working on Mrs. 00 documentary, which is going to be a 4-part series, just talking about my life, my journey, and, you know, going through the challenges on days where I didn't think I was going to make it, the days I was broke, the days I was facing eviction, when I was looking out to see if the repo man was coming for my car, all of that, you know, and just how I kind of like molded that into something that it is now, which is Mumptreprenur University.
Yeah.
Because, man, I had days where I didn't think I was going to make it. I was like, people like me don't make it out of situations like this. It's just a, girl, you tried your best.
Yeah.
Get to the back of the line, you know, and things started working out for me, and I was hopeful, and I had certain practices, and I started researching. There's so much power in knowledge, especially as a mom. We have so much to share. It's just connecting it with the right people and connecting it with the right brands to turn it into money, because we're naturally already doing it. We're doing it right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When we see a mom in a grocery store in a baby aisle crying because there's no formula, we're doing it then. You know what I mean? So now Mumptreprenur University just pretty much connects that mom experience to forward-thinking brands so that we can create an income. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's
Thank
so
you.
good. And you had your first daughter when you was a teenager, right?
Yes, I was 18 years old.
Oh, so that's
fresh out of it.
Really.
Girl, I felt fresh out of it. Yeah, I was kind of making it out.
Yeah.
I almost made it out. Didn't make it quite
all
far.
the way.
Yeah, but I got pregnant, dropped out of high school, and I feel like it just kind of spiraled from there. You know, became a single mother. And it just really started to get worse and worse. What I felt like, I was like, okay, this is going to be my life now. I'm just going to be a single mom, and I'm going to have to raise my daughter in the masculine, which I was for years.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the feminine soft era only comes with comfort.
There we go. And safety.
And safety, exactly. So I didn't realize that I needed another person to give me that. You know, I never felt like I was looking for it, because I was like, no man can give me nothing. I don't need nothing from no man. I'm going to find a man that was just like my dad. That's the last thing I want right now. So please just leave me alone. I'm good. I can make my own money. I can provide for myself. I can feed myself. I don't need anything. I didn't realize it was making me so tough on my exterior.
And it's a trauma response.
It's a trauma response. It really is. And I had that soft internally, you know, but she could never come out, because it was just challenge after challenge after challenge. And you look to people, they let you down. You know, your family doesn't have the same standard as you do. And they want to raise their children differently. And you're thinking, oh my God, like, you guys still have a lot of stuff you got to work on. Now I got my little one here. We're not going to disrupt her peace like that. This is it. I want to keep my baby in this little shell, because the world is just so cold sometimes. You know, I just want to keep her in just this little box for as long as possible.
Keep her safe.
Right? Because I remember being a child and just being naive and thinking, you know, like, I remember looking outside and it snowing and it feeling like a winter wonderland. Snow doesn't feel like that to me anymore. Yeah. We can't get those moments back. So for me, I feel like with children, it's so important to preserve that light for them. Yeah. In any way, shape, or form. If that means that I got to get mud all over me and I got to get a few hits, I'll take it. Just so that she doesn't know that there's a storm on the other side of the door, you know? So I feel like that really put me in my masculine for a very long time. Yeah. And then when I was ready to start seeking things to make me more feminine, and I started thinking I need to have a man around for my child, and like I want to start having more babies, then it started to become like, okay, who am I going to loop into this position now, because I've been so tough and rough with everyone trying to get in. You know, when am I supposed to go back and like, hey sir,
right,
sorry for the way I cussed you out a couple months ago. I'm feeling softer now. You know what I mean? So it was a whole realization, and ultimately it came down to me wanting to preserve that innocence for my child. And I took a lot of hits along the way. You know, I feel like I did a lot of things that a lot of mothers wouldn't do when it comes to like having their child. I got a lot of scrutiny for it as well. You know, I felt like my daughter's biological father at the time just wasn't able to provide the level of lifestyle I wanted to have for her. So I had to make a decision. And I feel like even with the women around me, I was scrutinized for that, you know, because there's the one side of doing what's best for you, but then there's the other side where people play your child against you and they're like, well, what's best for your child? I think this is best for your child, you know, without them even walking in your shoes for a minute. So it was a mental battle. I don't know how I dragged myself through that. Honestly, it's part of my 4-part series. Yeah. And
you know what I mean?
I do, but now that I'm in my soft era, I can see where it penalizes me sometimes. You know, I have a husband that loves me and is very patient and communicates so well. And I often find myself going back to those trauma responses because it feels like home. And I feel like
you were there for so long.
Right. And my outcome has always been the same. So my outcome must be the same with you as well. You know, so there was a lot I had to unlearn and allow myself to feel in order to get to this final stage that I feel like I'm at now. And it's still going, you know, it's a constant self-evaluation process. You know, sometimes I'll have an argument with my husband and I'll sit there and I'm like,
let me go say sorry.
Yeah. Let me go rub his head or something. And like, you know what I mean? Like, baby, I love you. Like, you know, because I didn't realize he has his own things that he's dealing with as well. And sometimes when we get angry as women, we give that fight or flight energy. You know what I mean? Like, so are we going to fight or are you leaving? Like, you know? And I realized that I was leaving my husband on red a lot in our household just because of my own trauma responses. So it's a whole self-evaluation process that never ends.
Yeah,
really.
It never
but
I feel like the masculine era that you were in served its purpose. Like, it got you through. The reason why that masculinity comes up is because that's what we need to get us through these trials, tribulations.
It was my armor.
It is. You know what I mean? That's how you kind of get through these tough times. And it's not like we're not built for it, really. And we shouldn't have to do it. But sometimes that's the situation we're in. And we just have to do what we have to do. But I'm happy for you that you're out of that. And now you can just be your soft girl.
Yes.
Because that's what we want to be. Like, I don't know. I can't speak for all women, but I know most of us, this is what we want.
This is soft life. It just soft life. It feels relaxed.
Yes.
You know, the other day I was taking the groceries out of the back of the car and my husband ran out. He's like, "What are you doing? Get in the house." And I'm like, buddy, I've carried 30 bags in my 2 arms on a regular basis for myself, you know, but I had to sit back and I was like, this is not giving soft girl. It's not. Sometimes we have to give that to ourselves as well. You know? So it's a process. And now that I'm in it, I see my daughters going through their journeys and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like I gotta like relive all over again. How do I get them to pivot? How do I get them to understand? And naturally, there's nothing that we can do. It's their journey. They're gonna have to figure it out. But it's hard. It's gonna be hard. I already know it's gonna be hard for me to sit back and watch that movie. You know,
I worry about these
the first boyfriend, the first heartbreak. Like, it's
I'm like terrified of so many of these things, you know?
And it's a part of their armor. It's a part of their journey, and we're gonna have to watch. And I think that's where our parents' generation missed that because you guys got so caught up in protecting us. You didn't allow us to build an armor for the future. And sometimes you just have to build that armor because we don't know what's going to happen in the future. So for me to look at my child and say, you don't need an armor, what happens if I'm not here one day? They're going to need that armor. You know what I mean? So I think sitting back as a mom and just allowing things to happen and play out is the hardest part about motherhood for me.
It is.
It's a lot of talking. Like with my girls, the 3 oldest ones in particular, we have talks every day about life, about appreciating the people that are there for you, about understanding the people that aren't there for you, not taking things personally. You know what I mean? Recognizing, reading the room. These are everyday conversations, and it's draining. Because ultimately, no matter how much breath I put into these little girls, When they see that cute little boy that they like with the baggy pants and the big shirt, you know what I
Good
mean?
Lord.
My words are not going to be as spicy as that feeling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's hard. But for us to heal, I feel like sometimes we just got to let it go. Still keep an eye on them because they need that. And I feel like I still use my mom as my eye at my big old age.
Yeah.
So it never ends for us.
Me too.
It's a tug and war.
Yeah.
It's a tug and war.
And I even spoke about this on past episodes, but I kept all my journals. So I've journaled. Nice. I'm someone who always used to journal. Like I grew up watching Moesha and Lizzie McGuire, and they would always write in their diary at the end of the episode. Yeah. That was inspired by that as a kid. I started writing my journal at 8, and I kept a journal all the way up till the age of like 22.
Oh wow!
So I have a stack of journals, and I've kept them for my daughter. And I said to myself, if I ever have
she's gonna love that.
Yeah.
Oh my
gosh. If I have a daughter, she is getting my journals.
Gosh,
I want her to know about all them little boyfriends, all my little heartbreaks, all my little friendship breakups.
Yeah. And my prayers. And daughters need that.
Yeah.
Because in our culture, it's not appropriate to talk to your parents about boys.
This is it.
You get what I'm saying? So that disconnect, they actually started that.
Yes.
And I've had this conversation with my parents, like, you guys started it.
Yeah.
Because you
didn't want to talk to me about this.
You didn't want to hear about my little dry head boyfriend.
There we go.
And eventually I stopped telling you about my little dry head boyfriend because I knew you didn't want to hear about it.
Yeah, and
you know
now
what I mean? Now look.
Pregnant, 18 years old.
Right. You know what I mean?
Because you didn't want to have the conversation with me.
You didn't want to have the conversation. And I struggle with that too, because when is the right time? I'm going to look at my babies when they're 13, 14, 15 and still think that they're little babies, but they're not.
I know.
The world is moving so fast around them.
So I'm going to, when she's 8, my daughter's 8, I'm going to give her my 8-year-old journal. When I'm 9, she'll get my 9-year-old journal. I'll just give her my journals when she reaches that age, because I want her to not only know that I've been there, but I want her to humanize me too. Like, I'm a human being. Yes. I'm your mom, but I'm a person that had a whole life.
Yes. So and they don't realize that. They don't realize that. Because my daughters give me the, what? You know about that? And I'm like, girl, I spun that block many times.
Read this. I'm going to say, just read this little.
How do you think you got here? You know what I mean? And they just see us as mom. And I remember seeing my mom as just mom. And it's not until I'm at the age now where I'm hearing her stories and her challenges and her journeys, and it really sits with me. So I know your daughter is going to connect with your journal so well.
You know, I hope so. Because
it's going to be such a good learning tool. And I already see you as a mother and how you interact with your daughter. She is going to love that, because it's going to create that friendship between little you and her. Right? And that's where we're not connecting all the dots. That's a great place to start.
Yeah.
And I didn't get to do the journal process, but I have a very good memory of my childhood. Yeah. And I run that through with my kids on a normal basis. And I normalize words that they think are taboo, or words that they think is weird.
Right.
Or what you say, like, no, this is our safe space.
Yeah.
In this safe space, we talk about anything.
Yeah.
Even the stuff, you know, we might not tell daddy tonight, but we'll figure it out together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just giving them that authority, safe space feeling. It's so important, because I think that adults in past generations tried that, but they still put a cap on it. Yeah. And when they started feeling uncomfortable, they shut the lights off.
And I feel like a lot of like our parents and parents' they have trauma.
Yes.
That makes them afraid of certain subjects.
Yes.
So I can't even be hard on them, because I'm like, I know the reason why you don't want to talk about this. Yes. Something happened in your life that you haven't dealt with.
It's a lot to unpack.
It's hard for you to even enter this subject.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And I think their generation obviously skipped the whole get therapy message.
Yeah.
Which our generation,
there was no time for therapy when you're in survival mode.
Yeah. And I think about it, like my grandmothers, they were immigrants from Jamaica, just trying to
who witnessed slavery.
Yeah. They were trying to make ends meet and provide for their kids, and just trying to figure things out. They didn't have time for no therapy.
Yeah. There was no time for that.
There was no time for that.
And
so a lot of stuff got like they held a lot of things in and passed a lot of negative things down.
Yes.
No fault of their own. They were doing their absolute best. And then my parents obviously were able to do just a bit better, but still had things that they had to work through too. Yeah. And now I'm going to do my best, not perfect, but I'm going to do as much as I can. And you see what you just said?
I'm going to do my best, not perfect.
Yeah.
That's the piece that they're missing.
Yeah.
Because although you did your best, it wasn't perfect.
That's right.
I don't look at my parenting under perfection light with my children. I apologize to my kids all the time. When I mess up, I'm like, girl, my bad. My day's been crazy. I took that out on you. that was wrong.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry for that. Making things up. Our culture told us, I don't make up little things. I don't make up things to little pitney. I don't make up things to little kids. You're a child.
Apologize.
I don't apologize to children. Do you know who I am?
Yeah.
We got to lose that.
Absolutely.
Because the connection starts from young.
Exactly. Like my husband was so shocked at first when he just experienced the way that we talk to kids in our family, because we say please and thank you to the children, and we say sorry and stuff. And he was like, "What the hell?"
Yes,
he didn't know like that was.
It's not our norm. It's not our norm.
Yeah,
and
so
we
that's how
had
we
to
do it.
learn that.
Yeah,
it's something we had to learn. It's not something we just like, oh, let me try this. Like, we had to learn. The effects of gentle parenting, the effects of doing punishment a little bit differently than how we saw it. And I think it's made a huge difference. Huge. My kids are so inquisitive. They ask questions. They're very bold. They're very outspoken. They're on camera. They feel comfortable. Like, they're just I'm very proud of the women that I can see them becoming in the future. And I think it's because I pushed past my comfort zone and allowed myself to have those conversations. Because, girl, when I tell you, some of those conversations really had me swallowing my chair. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm telling you, I was at the table like,
this is hard.
Yeah, and it was really hard.
Yeah,
and it felt naked.
Yeah,
right. And I'm sure the last thing any adult wants to feel is naked in front of a child. That's the disconnect that I feel like a lot of the generations before weren't pushing past their own comfort zone for the benefit of the child.
But it's good, and long term it even works better for the parent, because you're teaching your children that respect is earned.
Yes.
You don't just get respect just because you're who you are. No, you get respect because you are worthy of it.
Yes.
Like, I think that's something as well that we were just taught. Respect your elders. Mm-hmm. Really?
No.
All of them?
What if my elders don't make me feel safe or heard?
What if they abuse me? What if they're not kind? What if they're what if they're rude? Like, I'm not going to respect every elder.
Why? Some of the elders out here are very rude and disrespectful.
I refuse.
And I've learned to check some of them too when it comes to my kids, because they be trying it in the grocery stores and stuff sometimes. Like, oh, didn't your mother, ma'am, who are you?
Yeah, like, leave me alone. I remember one time when I was my daughter was just a baby, and I went to go get some hair products for her. I don't know why I remembered this, but I went to go get some hair products for her because her hair texture was changing. When they're born, they have this hair texture changing. Yeah. Her hair texture was changing, so I went to go get some products to try and figure out like what to use for her. Mm-hmm. And there was this old lady that came up to me in the shop and she said, "You don't need to buy all of this, just buy this. And in my mind, I'm thinking, you don't know my kid, you don't know her hair, you don't know anything, and you're just bothering me. And like, she's young, so clearly I'm only just newly postpartum. Like, you're messing with my head." And I was like, ma'am, like, I just didn't like that. And then my husband was like, "Oh, she's just trying to be helpful." And I'm like, I don't, it wasn't helpful.
No, that ma'am needs to mind her own titties.
Yeah, leave me alone.
Okay. Mind your own titties.
Sometimes
thank you.
It's annoying. It's annoying. Sometimes it's in love, but sometimes it's just, you're irritating me.
So now I want to talk about Miss Hyperemisis. I want to talk about her. Because
my stomach rumbled just now.
PTSD.
It's living in me. Let's get it.
You share about this a lot, and I feel like it is an important subject though, because a lot of women, they don't know what it is, or sometimes they have it and don't realize that it's not normal.
The horror stories that I've heard from the comment section on my HG videos are absolutely terrifying. The amount of women that have passed out over the toilet or even passed away thinking that they could and I relate to that so much, because the first time I was going through it, HG is something that's not normalized yet, right? So it's going to be overseen as morning sickness. You're pregnant, obviously you're going to feel sick.
Yeah,
I got that for the longest time until one day, I kid you not, I probably threw up like 23, 25 times in
the day.
Yeah, mind you, after maybe the fifth one, there was nothing coming up. But the motion of it and the dry heaving was still there, right? And I'm like, I seen everything come up, literally in lines. Like the lining of your stomach, I seen it come up over and over. And I started to see black. Like literally my eyes started to get black. I started to get really dizzy. And that's when my husband was like, "We're calling the ambulance.
Yes.
This doesn't feel like morning sickness, like you try crackers, ginger ale, medicine, everything, and it was like this gut-wrenching, like it just would never end. I wouldn't even, like, not even to over boost. Like, I wouldn't even get like a 2-minute window between the last like vomiting feeling and the next one.
Right.
It was like back to back to back
my
to
God.
back to back. And when you think, okay, stomach has nothing left, so I'm good. Like, there's nothing left, so it has to wrap up. No, it's just in your body, and it's trying to get every, like, literally the worst experience I've ever had in my entire life. So
So you went to the hospital?
had to go to the hospital, hospitalized for weeks. And in those first couple weeks, they didn't even know what was wrong with me, which scared me even more.
That's crazy.
The hospital, I kid you not, was like, we've never seen this.
In
What is this?
2020?
In 2020 at the time. I was like, okay, so I'm going to do my own research, trying to advocate for myself, trying to connect with people. They're telling me this, they're like, maybe you have HG. One doctor came in the night, and I'll never forget him because he said he had seen it so many times, and he was the one that prescribed me with home care. I'm so grateful. If I knew his name, I'd give him a shout out right now because he saved me. And he was like, this is not morning sickness, you guys are treating her morning sickness, meaning they're just giving me medication to just make me feel a little bit better for maybe an hour or two, and then I'm right back into it. One nurse actually even suggested termination for me. Yeah, she's like, if you're going to be going through this for the whole pregnancy, then maybe you should consider other options. Like what, babe?
What's wrong with these people?
Okay, what are my other options? I'm so confused. You're a nurse, man.
Do you know what I'm saying?
It felt weird and scary.
Very weird and very
I don't know what's
scary.
wrong with you, right? And finally that doctor came, he sorted things out for me. I was able to go home and get home care at home. But before that, in those weeks, they were just feeding me, pumping me with medication. And it's like, my thing is, I'm not a big medicine girl. I just feel like I believe in my body very, very well, and the things that I fuel it with. So I believe that my body can fight off certain things and like can tolerate certain things. I believe in my body very highly. So when it comes to medication, I always try to find a more natural alternative, and I'd rather kind of tough it out knowing that like my body and my immune system will get stronger once I get over this. So they were just pumping me with medication. I had no option. They were putting me in IV, trying to give it to me orally. It was a walking disaster, and nothing made me feel better, by the way. So all those weeks I was in the hospital, nothing made me feel better. There was not one day where I felt good for like 2 hours or 3 hours. This is every single day, and it lasted the majority of my pregnancy. The doctors were like, oh, once you get over the 3-month mark, you'll be fine. And I realized you guys are still mentally treating it as morning sickness. And it's not. There is no alternative, and a lot of the medications that they give you for HG is not the healthiest for your baby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm there thinking like, yeah, I'll feel better, but what am I causing to my unborn child right now, right? It was horrible. Yeah. There was no out, and I find a lot of people ask me like, what ultimately did you do? And my answer will always be the same. I suffered.
Yeah.
There's
Because there isn't anything you can
There's no way out of it.
No.
I tried everything under the sun. Everything. Like spiritual, medicinal, herbal, all of it. Nothing. There were a few things that helped for like just an hour or two, and I learned how to like live my life with those little windows where I felt okay.
Yeah.
Other than that, straight house.
So like, how long after your pregnancy did it take you to like feel comfortable to eat again? And
Right away.
Oh.
As soon as the baby came out, it was like, oh, the problem's gone.
Wow.
Literally, as soon as that baby came out, I was like, I'm so hungry.
Oh my god. Okay.
And I feel like I was
really
binge eating. I went through like a binge eating cycle. My body was like, whoa, what's this? We haven't had food in months.
Yeah.
You know, so I had to go through that cycle. But immediately after my baby came out, both times, it was gone.
Oh, that's good.
Right?
At least it just ended.
It just went away. And then I got pregnant again.
And then it happened again. So you
I
had
had again 2 back-to-back HG pregnancies.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you only had 2 out of the 5. 2 of them are
3 of them are HG, and 2 of them are my adopted bonus daughters.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, girl. And when I was 18, I didn't even know I had HG. I just thought I remember days where I was crying in my apartment by myself and vomiting, laying in my vomit because I lived on my own. I was like,
Oh my
no one's
God.
gonna check me and call me dirty. So
Are you serious?
laying in my vomit.
And it's
multiple
hereditary.
times.
So your mom had it and your grand had it.
So that's when I started digging deeper, when I heard that, you know, maybe your mom or grandma had it. So I'm like, if my mom or grandma had this, I'm sure they would have told me. Like, I think
But they thought it was normal.
they thought it was normal. So my grandma was like, yeah, and one time in Jamaica I had to walk from here to there and I vomited the whole way, and then I vomited when I got there and into the night, and the nurse had to give me, and I'm like, come on. So you didn't stop and think for 1 second this is normal? She's like, well, no, well, I was having a baby and it's normal to feel nauseous when you have a baby. They normalized it. So they didn't even feel the need to share that information, because had you brought up HG when I was 13 maybe, 12, there's a possibility that, you know, there's something called hyperemesis gravidarum, and you're going to throw up every single day for every single hour that you are pregnant. Maybe you would have put a little... I don't think I want that for myself just yet, you know, but it was so normal for them. So when I asked them back, I was shocked to hear that they literally had hyperemesis.
Yeah. Oh my god, can you imagine like just having that and just thinking that's the way it goes.
That's torture.
It's horrible.
That's like you being in your house right now, you go lie down on your bed and then you wake up in a random federal prison. How did I get here? Why am I suffering? You have to sit there for 9 months? How did I get here? What did I do to deserve this? Like, it was literally like a day and night. Like, day and night.
Well, I saw you post something online and I don't know. I feel like a lot of people still don't really know what it is. Like, even moms don't really know what this is. Because you posted the other day, not the other day, it was months ago now.
When I got pregnant again.
Did you actually?
I did get pregnant again.
Okay, so you posted you was ending the...
Yeah, decided to terminate. I was not putting myself through that.
Right.
And I said before I posted the video, I knew I was going to get a lot of scrutiny for the termination. Also, it was during the time with the abortion laws and everything in the States, so I knew. But I was so comfortable in my decision because I said, unless you were in that graveyard with me, girl.
That's what I'm saying.
Unless you were in the graveyard with me, you have no say on what I'm sharing right now.
Yeah.
None at all. Those comments didn't even scratch the surface on me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it is so bad. I already have 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You guys are talking about making it 6.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Because at this point, me and my husband are going to have to invest in a little yellow school bus. That's even like, this is my investment right now. Crazy. So I was like, this is what I'm going to do. My husband's going to get a vasectomy, and this is going to be our solution, because I cannot... Oh my, I couldn't even, I can't even use words.
Yeah.
The trauma is like trying to come out from my throat. It's so bad. Mm-hmm. You cannot live with it. Like, it's back to the point where now my friends tell me they're pregnant. I'm there pregnant, and I please God, don't give my friend HG.
Yeah.
She's such a good person. She's such a great mom. Please, like, she cannot handle that. Please, like, because it is so bad.
But here's my thing, like, I think people are crazy because on one side, like, if you was to go and have a 6th child, people would be like, you got too many kids, why you stop having kids? And then if you say, okay, I'm not going to go ahead with this 6th pregnancy, oh, you shouldn't. And people are like, oh, you're going to end the pregnancy over morning sickness? I'm like, okay, so you clearly don't know what HG is, obviously.
And if I could jump you in my body and fast forward 2 years ago, girl, I would do that in a heartbeat. But I can't do that, so we're just going to keep it pushing.
Yeah.
This is my story. It doesn't have to be yours. You don't even have to like it.
Yeah.
You can literally keep scrolling. It's free.
People are so judgmental.
So judgmental. But there's such
And then I saw one comment where someone was like, oh, that could have been the boy. That could have been your boy.
Oh, that one ate me up. I'm not going to lie.
Why?
It ate me up because I want a son.
Oh, okay.
I want a son so badly. I see the love that my brothers have with my mom. I want that. My daughters are never going to give that to me.
Right.
I've already accepted that.
Oh, we had this conversation.
Yes, they love daddy.
My daughter is a mommy's girl.
I'm permanently the op. Forever. I gotta be the one. It's my role.
I know.
It's my role, and I hope no one takes it out of context. But my daughters love me. My girls love me. Our girl time can't be topped. It is top tier. But the love that they have for daddy is just. I get jealous. I do.
Aww.
I do. I really do get jealous sometimes. The love that they have for their dad is like out of this world. They always want to make sure he's okay. You hurt his arm at work the other day. And I could have just cried the way they were just like attending to him and like telling him that they don't like his boss anymore because you know, the whole drama of it, and like it it was so touching. I was like, they have a different love for dad.
Yeah.
Dad's the cool dad.
Yeah.
You know, he gets to be cool dad. I'm more default
The strict
parent.
one.
You guys can't do that. You guys, you know, gotta do this, say this, do that. Like, so I'm the school. You know what I mean? Dad gets to be the playground, which is cool.
It's definitely the opposite in my house.
Oh.
My husband is the strict one. And I'm the softie. But I'm also, I don't know, I'm just glad she's a mommy's girl because my second baby, the one I'm pregnant with, is a girl too.
Yes.
I don't want it anymore. Thank you.
Girl mom. Girl
I don't
mom.
want it anymore. I want to stop at 2.
Okay.
So thankfully I've got my mommy's girl. If this one was a daddy's girl, that's okay with me. At least I already
Yeah, you have one. Yeah, you already have one. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's so true. When I saw that comment, though, it upset me because I feel like, what is it with people feeling like a family's not complete without a boy? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah. I even saw one woman that was like, oh, just have it and I'll adopt it. Girl.
It's the pregnancy I don't want to do. What part of this?
Yeah.
Understand?
If you can put me in an incubator for 9 months and I'm knocked out, sleeping the whole time, I'll have babies back to back to back. HD can't touch me.
But it's the fact
Until
that
the technology gets to that, the shop is closed.
the shop is closed.
It is closed.
There needs to be something for it. Like they need to start coming up with that.
Yeah.
With the quickness.
Yeah.
How do you even function? Like, how do you work? How did you work? How did you make
I got a lot of trauma from that because I just plowed through it. I didn't give myself a chance to be down. It was up. I gotta do content. I gotta do this. I gotta make money. And like I didn't have to. Like I said, my husband provides. He provides for the entire house on his own income. So it's like it's not like I'm like, oh, our lights are gonna be shop. I gotta hustle and bustle. The hustle was naturally in me from when I was younger. It was very hard to let go of.
Yeah.
To go from a single mom to a married mom is so hard mentally.
Really? Why? I've had someone else say this, but
It's very, very hard to adjust to because I'm used to doing things on my own.
Got it.
I didn't have to share a role with a partner. Now I have to be considerate of your role. You have to be dad. You gotta play your part as dad. You gotta show up as dad. And sometimes I gotta be that reminder system for that. So it's like not only do I have to like take it on, but I also have to kind of like maintain it. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I gotta nudge my husband and say, husband, he's like, I don't watch that show. I'm like, just tell him you do. Like, yeah, you do. You remember when you saw it on LOL Dolls? And and dad gets all the brownie points. You know what I mean? It's me in the back end doing all the mechanicals. But it was really hard for me to just accept another role in my household.
Yeah.
I relied on me. I relied on my income. I relied on me making food for myself. And now I have to allow another role.
You get to allow.
I get to allow another role. See, it still lives in me, right? Because it feels, sometimes I talk like it's a punishment. It's not a punishment.
Right.
It is not a punishment, but
It's an adjustment.
It's an adjustment.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. I never really thought about that side of it. Like, you know, when you're coming out of like having to do everything by yourself, for yourself, in your own way too, and then you have to make accommodations.
And that's one thing my husband says he cannot stand about me because we did the X challenge.
Oh,
for each
yeah.
other, the X that we have for each other. He's like, I hate that. Like, you just feel like it's a one-man band with you all the time. Like, where am I? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I look outside, I see my wife holding 30 grocery bags, struggling going up the stairs. Like, hello, you have a husband.
Yeah.
You could have called me when you were 5 minutes down the road, so I could have been outside. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
I never saw my mom get that either.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like finding space for something new is pretty hard. Even though you know what's best for you, you know, but it was very hard to allow that role to be entered into my personal space.
Yeah. I wonder what it's like on his side. I know you mentioned that he wants to you know, be allowed to do more. But I wonder if he ever feels like it's difficult to give up certain things that he's used to too. Like
and he was a single dad for a little bit. So I think it was a huge adjustment, even when it comes to like punishment. Like, you know, we dealt with that very differently.
Yeah.
So I had to introduce him to the gentle side of things, you know. And he's like, oh, well, in my time, we would have got licks for that. And I'm like, yeah, I would have got licks for that too, you know. But we're trying something different, and it actually he sees how efficient the practice is, and how open the girls are, and how vibrant they are, and how well they take constructive criticism, you know, because we're not always knocking down their ego and their pride
This is
as punishment all the time.
Insulting them or criticizing them, breaking down their spirit.
Like when I was a kid, I would never do that. Like the comparison, you know what I mean? It's all very silent but loud to kids. And I think it plays a big part. I'm excited for this next generation that we have coming. People that are like in tune with their intelligence, are very self-aware, very understanding and considerate of the people around them. I'm very excited for this generation.
Yeah, me too. And I hear the older saying, the young people are too soft. And I'm just like, they're soft because they don't want to tolerate disrespect.
Thank you.
That's why they're soft.
And I don't care who is disrespecting. It could be granddad, grandma, mom, auntie, cousin. You gotta go.
Yeah. That's what I feel as well.
And I'm going through that with my family right now because we had a lot of toxic family members that I just went in and was like, I'm the first one to have kids, grandkids in the family. I'm like, you'll never see us at Christmas ever again.
Period.
You will never.
I don't blame you. I hear that.
If my auntie's at that table, my kids and you are out of here.
I hear that. I'm that one too.
Confront and talk about certain things.
I don't even want to have a conversation anymore.
Yeah, leave me out of bed.
I'm not in and out with you. There's some family members where it's like, no, they don't see me, they don't hear from me.
No, and they don't wish well on you.
No, they don't. So it's like anyone who had a problem with my mom too.
Yeah, you gotta go.
I remember. Okay,
thank you. Because my mom is very forgiving. I'm not.
I remember, right? So not one of you can think that you had beef with my mom.
Yeah,
and you and me are gonna have a relationship.
Yes. And they love that.
That's a no from me.
They love that. They love that. Like, oh, I get to smuggle in our child. And like, oh, see, your daughter loves me.
Nope.
You're not playing me against
no,
like that.
Never. This is it. Never. And so they think they're being slick.
Yes.
Like, oh yeah, when so grows up, then me and them can have a relationship. Oh, quarter two.
Girl, you're hitting it hot
quarter two. Because that's not gonna work.
My biological father has that ideology about life. He was never around. I went to go meet him when I was 25, I think, and I brought my oldest daughter with me, just for me to get that woosah moment for myself. I need to lay my eyes on you. You know what I mean?
Was he not around? Was it his fault?
Was he kept away, or did he just stay away?
So that's where things got juicy, girl, because I'm like, I had to fly there to meet him. I went to Atlanta. Okay?
Really?
Yeah, I went to Atlanta, made it a little vacation moment, met him, met his wife at the moment, and I was really like, I'm here as a journalist. I feel like
here as a journalist.
I am here as a journalist because I need to get some answers, and I need to be able to provide those answers and pass them on. So they need to be solid.
Yeah.
I went there and I realized that I'm looking out for something very specific. I don't want to hear who did what.
Yeah.
And if he starts that conversation off as, your mom kept me away from you, he was going to be out the door faster than he got in it. Because what we're not going to do is try to penalize the mother who raises the child. Do you know how hard it is to keep a child safe and alive daily? It is a challenge. My mom did that flawlessly. So regardless of what happened between you guys, there are policies and laws in place to overcome the issues that you have within each other. Did you try to fight for me? Did you fight beyond my mom for me? Did you try to call? Did you try to reach out? All of those things meant a lot. Also, did you keep anything during these years, thinking that you were going to meet me one day? Is there anything to show for the time that you've lost? There was nothing, but he did play the blame game. So I was like, okay, that shows me where you're at.
So that's
mentally.
different. It's like, it's different if you say to me, I was kept away, but I tried, and these are the court cases that I tried, and this is the court. These are the calls, and I did my best.
Thank you.
That's different.
Yeah. Then I'd look at my mom and be like, "Girl, for me to have all these issues, really? Like, you know what I mean? But when you have nothing to show, and nothing to show that you were actively trying and fighting, she wouldn't pick up her phone, so I didn't see you for 26 years, honey. That is not good enough.
No. It's not good enough, no.
You living your life scot-free, being able to go out while my mom's life was put on pause for raising me will never be good enough.
No.
You know? So
I need to see effort.
I need to see an effort. And I feel like I've also heard that from like my daughter's biological father. Like, oh, I'll just deal with her when she gets to 18. And it's like,
What makes you think
how
she's
do you
going to
have
want
so
to?
much trust in time?
Yeah.
It's the one thing that we're not promised. None of us are promised time.
Yeah.
It's the one thing on this earth that is never guaranteed.
Mm.
And you're going to say, I'm just going to wait until she's 18.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like my dad had that same type of ideology, and now I want nothing to do with him because you didn't try.
And a lot of family members have that mindset that, oh yeah, I might not have a relationship with the parent, but you know, when they get older, I'll talk to the child. But the child's not going to want to talk to you because they're not going to be into it. Who are you? You just come out of nowhere. It's like you waited for an opportunity to get to know me. I don't want to get to know you.
Right. And I asked my biological father, like, what if I got in a car accident or something at like 20, 18, 16? Like, we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now. You are so hopeful on something that is the one thing that's not guaranteed. And how old were you
when you went to go find him?
I was 25.
So you had to go look for him.
Yes, thank you.
At big 25.
Thank you. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
You know what I mean?
We're not doing that.
And I do understand that sometimes some fathers and like some men, they give up.
Yes.
And
I don't like it. I'm going to pause that because do we have an option to give up and be tired?
But we do. I feel like we do because I know women as well who have just said, I can't, like they get up and they give the child over. They just
let's get into it because that's my family dynamic right now.
They let the father do it, and they check out. Postpartum is real. Depression is real. The overwhelm is real. When you don't have a support system, it's real. So there are women who give up too.
And
then there are men who give up. And I feel like there are men, like I've seen men who do fight for their kids. Like it's different. Some of them do fight. Some of them do. They try to take the woman to court. They try everything. But the woman is so difficult, so bitter. It's like she wants to use the child as a pawn or like some kind of like tool to get back at him or something because she's mad about what he did to her. And I think after like 5, 6, 7 years of just trying, they give up because their mental health just can't do it anymore. And but in that's those situations, I understand.
That's what makes it trying.
Yes.
Like if you can't knock anybody for trying. If you tried, you tried.
You tried.
No matter if it's 50 years that go by, 5 years, 10 years, you try. But it's the ones that are just like, okay. Girls need their dads.
Yes. And boys.
Yeah. You know, I wish I could speak under that light, but I can't. Maybe one day. I don't know. Hopefully not. Okay, you know, it's a lot going on. I still want a son. I don't want the pregnancy though.
But a boy pregnancy might be different. You never know.
I could have sworn my last one was a boy. Everyone was like, this is the boy. Yeah. I love my girls. I love being a girl mom. We have a very pink, glittery, floral house, you know, but I'm not going to lie. The not having a son really...
It does?
It does. Yeah, it does.
Okay, I feel
it kind of does.
I haven't got that feeling.
That's good.
Yeah, or maybe I haven't got that feeling yet. I don't know. People keep telling me that one day I want a son, but in my mind, I'm just like, we had this conversation. I'm like, I don't know what I would do with
That's kind of how I feel now
with a son. I'm like,
could you imagine a little boy with 5 older sisters? Like,
as well, like that's another thing.
I don't even think I have a toy car in my house.
Like, unless I can give you a brother, I just don't feel like.
Yeah, now we're getting into some high digits, girl. So let's just scratch all that energy. Now we're talking about 7 kids. Let's just scratch all of that.
But it's true. Like my brother, he had 2 older sisters, and I mean my brother are close, but I do feel like his whole life, deep down, he would have liked to have had a brother.
Yeah,
it would have been so nice for him to have a brother, and I feel like he probably has that feeling. Although obviously he loves me and my sister, but you know, he probably went his whole life, I wish I would have had a brother, like that kind of thing.
Yeah. And I feel that for my husband sometimes when he's like trying to do like little fake WWE moves with the babies, and I'm like,
my husband, he dresses our daughter up in like basketball clothes sometimes, like Lakers jerseys and stuff like that.
It's a little taste of the life.
Jordan sweatpants, and I'm like, okay, but you gotta be careful because people think she's a boy. She's got locks. So you gotta be, keep it girly. Let her have a little gown.
That's true.
And she likes her gowns anyway. She wants to wear dresses and high heel. Oh my god, are you kidding me? That girl loves to do ballet in the house. This is my lifestyle. This is me. That was me as a kid, and that is she's very much the child of my fantasy. Do you know what I mean? I mean, like if I had a boy now, what I have to do, like buy Superman stuff and like Batman stuff.
Right? And we do so much healing through our daughters. I saw one of your podcast episodes where you were talking about your neck, and that really sat with me, because I was like, I have had so many moments like that with my daughters where I was like, I hate this about myself, or I don't like how, like, you know, my eyes are, like how my nose and my lip, like, you know, stuff I'm self-conscious about on my own. And then my child has the exact same thing. Like, for me, my neck story was my forehead. I grew up hearing I had a big forehead my entire life. Now my daughter has my forehead. I love it on her.
You see what I'm saying?
And I literally get into tussle mode anytime I hear someone saying, oh, you have your mom's head.
Period.
Yeah?
Period.
Yeah, she has her mom's head. Does she have her mom's hands too? Because, hello. Like, we tussle for fun over here.
I love when Toronto comes out. I love when Toronto comes out of the girls.
Do you mean she got a big old head like her mom? Say it again.
I love when Toronto comes out of the girls.
Girl,
don't play with me.
I don't play about my babies. I do not play about my babies and their self-esteem. Same. And I realized I should have protected myself like that.
This is it. The things we will not accept for our children.
Yes.
We have to stop accepting for ourselves.
Yeah.
And you're right. We heal. Like, raising daughters is healing.
Yeah.
It's a healing experience.
Yeah.
There are things about my child that I just want to protect fiercely, because I see it, a lot of myself in her. Yeah. She's me. Like, you know, like her personality. She's bubbly. She's joyful. She's outgoing. She's confident. I need to protect that and never make her feel like she has to shrink herself to make others feel comfortable. Because I remember being that girl. Like, my parents never made me shrink myself. My parents loved me the way I was, but you know, sometimes you go into school.
Yes, the influence.
Or you go into other environments and they tell you you're too loud, you're too this, you're too dark. And you have teachers that tell you you're too this and too that. And that then over time you just start to think to yourself, I need to shrink.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's what I don't want for her. I need her to know that, like, be yourself. And if you're too much for them, then tell them to go find less.
Yes, exactly. And I tell my daughters all the time, we don't dim our light for anybody over here.
Period.
At no point in time. If you feel uncomfortable, you should leave the room.
There we go.
Because I will never be exiting for anybody. And I try to instill that energy in them every day. And we run trials on it. And they'll tell me about their day and tell me about something that a girl said at school. And they're just unbothered. You know what I mean? Like, just completely unbothered. And I love that for them. Yeah. I love that, because it feels like they're in a, like, snow globe and we're just running the mechanics at the top, making sure everything okay, and cue the snow. You know what I mean? That's what motherhood feels like. It's like you're all in one production team, really, because we make it like a show. Yeah. My daughter, my 12-year-old daughter, Aaliyah, she's such a firecracker, that girl. She just recently found out that Elf on the Shelf is not real. She found them in my drawer. Oh. I could have done a little better at hiding.
It is what it is.
I didn't think she was at that stage, though, where, like, if the drawer was open, oh, what's that? That's not socks. Like, oh, you know what I mean?
And now
I was so taken back. But the way she made me know was, one day I forgot to put them up. And I was like, oh, maybe they're still at the North Pole. She's like, She's like, well, maybe I could go and get them from the North Pole and set it up so that the babies can see them tomorrow. And I was like,
that means she's growing up. It seems like she wasn't even hurt.
I wanted to cry because the understanding came as, like, an enrichment to give to others versus like, oh my God, I've been living a lie my whole life. Yeah, no, you know?
And her choice of language shows that she feels that she's graduated to big girlhood, really.
Yes, and now we're talking in code now. Yeah, she's talking to me in code because we can't really say the elves aren't real. Yeah, you know what I mean? We'll never utter those words, but we got a little thing going now. So when I'm tired and mommy doesn't have time to set up the elves, I got my little helper.
I love that.
You know what I mean? Yeah, and that was like our little moment. I was like, you're getting so big. And I'm so proud of you. You know? And I said to her, Leah, I'm so proud of you. And she just smiled. I love that because now she's passing that on to her younger siblings and she's keeping it alive for them. Yeah. You know, until they cross over.
The things we're passing on. This is so beautiful.
I am so proud of us, honestly. Really and truly. Yeah. It's a process, but we're getting it.
Yeah. That's it. It's a process. You know what I mean? Day by day, we get better at things. But you're doing amazing. You're doing amazing.
God, so are you.
You're inspiring so many mothers.
Thank you so much.
And you can just tell by the reactions on your page as people are feeling empowered and inspired and encouraged by what you're putting out there. Your
and
transparency is good. It's so good.
Thank you. I struggle with that. I do. There's many times where I post a video, Patrice, and I promise you, I gotta throw my phone and like run. Hi, please.
Do you ever get nervous when you go viral?
Yes. I will delete it. Can you imagine opening your TikTok and seeing like 75,000 notifications?
Woo. I can't sleep when a post is going viral. When I have a post that's going viral, it's like I can't sleep.
Like, what are you guys talking about? What are you guys saying?
What are you saying? What are you saying?
Was there something in my teeth? Was there like, and I have the best advice that I have for moms that want to jump into the space that are afraid to put themselves out there. There's never going to be a day where you're going to feel like doing it. So that moment that we wait for, like, oh, maybe next week when my hair's done, I'll feel better to do it. No, because you're going to complain about your aesthetics of your house.
Yeah.
Then you're going to complain about your nails. It's going to be something. You have to just throw yourself over the ship and be confident and happy with what you're putting out there and just leave it alone. You know what I mean? It's like throwing seeds into a garden. That's what I feel like I've done. I just planted seeds and they're all mine. It feels like me, and there's no criticism that is going to break me because I'm living my truth.
Yes.
I'm saying how I genuinely feel, and even if it's a little off and it may rub some people the wrong way, this is my journey that is continuous. So you've just met me on maybe 25% today. You know what I mean? Maybe the next time you meet me, I'll be at 50%. But either way, I'm gradually trying to get there. This is my journey. I feel confident in that. And that's what I give. I just try to give the real about motherhood and raising kids and healing, and really just try to make it like an inclusive community where we can just talk about shit. Like, we can just rant about stuff, and we can complain about our kids and how we're frustrated and how much we love them and how we're confused and how we don't want no more kids, but we have baby fever and we don't really ever make sense. And I think we need to stop looking for the sense in it. It just needs to be
this is it. You need to just do what you can.
Just do what you can.
It all comes together. You'll look back on the chaos like, well, that was a crazy time.
That was a crazy time.
But I learned some things.
Yes. And just being reflective, and that allows me to show up on Instagram and TikTok as myself.
As yourself.
Sometimes I look like this, and other days I look like
and you show up on both days.
Girl, both days I'm there. You're going to catch me outside. Same thing with my events. Things aren't going well. I'm still going to be at that table.
Yeah.
And I keep things progressive. I don't allow my thoughts to hold me back from things. I'm just soaring. If I fall, then I'm going to talk about how I fell and how much it hurt.
And how you got up.
And how you don't have to fall.
Yeah.
Right? So
this is it. Period. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Much for having me. I love this.
This has been refreshing.
Yes, and
very therapeutic. Yeah, and fun.
Yes.
I feel energized by this conversation. Yes. I appreciate you. Thank you, moms at home, for listening, for tuning in.
Yes, thank you guys.
Come back next week for more conversation. Bye.
Bye guys. 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 Bye guys.